What's up? This is Gordon Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. We started off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. Hey, man, welcome to the new week. I'm not going to hesitate too much right here, man. Just welcome. We thank you guys. We appreciate everything that you do for supporting us. And believe me, we got a lot more coming, all right? It's going to look better. It's going to be a lot more. We're here to inspire, educate, and the other word, too. I keep forgetting it. What's up, Gina?
What's up?
We here.
Man, this is a great week. You should be laying on the coach's couch.
Yes,
yeah.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Something like that.
What's going on, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening, y'all?
We chilling, man. Okay.
You know what we should have called it? The mind tune-up, because everybody needs a mind tune-up. You need to tune up your mind.
Unpack it.
There's a lot of stuff going on out there, man. But today, we've had a week of authors on. Okay, we got a lot of talent here on the panel itself. We had a week of authors on. We've had a week of music on. All right, today we got our own life coach. Okay, and he's on here all the time. So let's bring our life coach.
Yo.
Get real.
What's going on, family? How we doing?
Man?
Hey,
all the
coach.
good and a little bit more, man.
So, man,
look. You ready? Hey,
yes, I like
Get
it
in.
This is what I do, people. This is what I do.
I thought I heard some crackling and popping in there.
You did.
I'm scared. Yeah. I'm scared to do that. I might mess around, click.
Oh, man.
We walk around like this for the next 10 years.
I'm messing around with Jeff and them, damn it.
That's right, Ella.
Hey, man, we wanted to take, we had a great opening week of the year. Yeah. And during that week, we had a life coaching moment. We had a life coach. Shout out to life coach James Bond. Came in here. And we had thought about it, and I said, you know what? We got our own life coach here. Why don't we see if he has the time to give us? You just take some random people that send us the emails or send us.
Give it to you.
And let's help them out. Okay, this is what we have to do. This is what we're bound. We're bound by our conscience to help people, man. And that's what we're gonna do. Jeff, appreciate you, man, for handling that for us.
No problem, sir.
So while we're waiting on what's going on, Marcy? Everybody say
hey. Hey,
Marcy.
How are you guys doing?
That's good.
We should life coach her. Yeah.
I know, for real.
Yeah.
Like
what?
Y'all funny.
Why you in the background? Aren't you supposed to be on here with us?
Right. I saw that. You responded on Facebook and blinking over here.
Look. It's been one of those days.
Oh, it's that first real week back, y'all.
It's all good to hear, and everybody's, the gang's all here.
Gang's all here.
Life coach Jeff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has happened in 2022. A lot of people have gone through things, and I guess some people are carrying it over into 2023.
Exactly.
What we wanted to do today, man, and this week actually, because it's going to be a week of life coaching. All right, everybody doesn't have the same issues. Everybody has different issues. and I don't even want to call them issues. So I call them circumstances in their lives that they need to get some clarity on. And this is what Life Coach Jeff is going to do. Try to at least get some clarity in 30 minutes. I mean, a 1 hour show. And I know sometimes, I guess, Coach, and you could tell me, man, how long does it really take to get to the core of what people's issues? I keep saying issues, situations are.
Concerns.
Well,
there you go.
Concerns, issue, different things like that. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Listen, it really takes a minute to go ahead and do this. And what I mean by a minute is it takes a while, people. I sat up here, I had a client for 6 months, had 2 clients for 6 months, and they both had new issues that would occur within our session. They said, okay, I want to go ahead and I want to take care of this and I want to do that. But then we start dealing with the emotional part of it too. You know what I mean? Like I ask enough questions to make sure you get what you want out the deal, but life is just life. You know what I mean? So when life hits you, a lot of times people don't have the mental capacity to adjust as quick. You know what I mean? They might get hit a little bit harder. So I'm not going to say it takes ages or it takes forever, but when new things arise, they have to be worked through, and we have to work through them properly pertaining to that specific person.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Jordan from New Orleans. Appreciate you tuning in, brother.
Hey there.
Jeannie, you had a question?
Yes, Coach. My question is, what's my question? I need life coaching.
Look at you. Look at you.
I need life coaching. No, but seriously, I'm curious to know, what do you do? Like we just talked about how a situation can turn into, well, first of all, answer this. What is life coaching? Some people may not know that.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you how I look at life coaching. Okay. What a life coach is it's not therapy. Okay. I'm not a social worker. I'm not none of that stuff. I can't diagnose or nothing like that. So let's go ahead and throw that out on the table because I don't want to get sued by nobody or nothing like that. I don't do nothing like that.
Right.
But what I do is I guide you along the process. So what life coaching is I ask you a series of questions, okay, based on what you want to get out of your life or while you're going through a particular circumstance. So let's say, for instance, somebody is going through divorce and they want more peace. Okay. First question I'm going to ask is, what are you doing now to get that peace? Some people will say, oh, okay, well, I might go running or I might do this, but I'm still unfulfilled. Some people might say, oh, I don't know. That's what I got you for. And I always redirect somebody's attention to themselves because a lot of people don't realize that you have the answers already within you. That's what that's a big part of what I do. I allow people to see the strengths within themselves as they continue to doubt themselves within, you know? So as like Mo said earlier, they unpack. We unpack a lot of different things that are brought to the table. You know what I mean? It, like I said earlier, it just depends on that particular person and or situation.
Well, the second part of my question, you talked about how sometimes it gets emotional. What do you do in those instances when it goes from life coaching to now it's an emotional situation? Do you stop the session? How do you deal with that?
Oh, no, we don't have to stop the session. What I like to do is I like to make sure that people are in tune with their emotions. You have to know how you feel. You know what I mean? The whole point of somebody coming to me with their emotional issues and problems is not for them to hold it in. You feel me? You come to me so you can express. I tell people it's a no judge free zone. And what I do is I like to help kind of soften the blow with people. I like to tell people aspects of my life and different things that I've done and what I've been through. So then, you know, we have a little conversation about it. And like, oh man, you didn't look like that type of person who would have done this. I'm like, well, a lot of us look like people that wouldn't go through a lot of different stuff that we go through. So I have to, once again, I meet them where they at and I say, look, we're all human. We've all gone through stuff and we all got issues. It's just all in how we deal with it.
Okay, real quick, Marcel, I want to pause your question for a second. Okay. So that we can have as much time as possible with the
that's fine.
person. Let's bring on Brandy. Hey, Brandy, how are you?
Hey, Brandy.
Hey, what's going on, Brandy?
Hi, how are you guys?
Looking beautiful as ever.
As ever,
Thank
always.
Good.
So, Brandy, Jeff, life coach, just gonna let you do your thing. Okay, we might have questions and statements throughout, but just let you do your thing. So, Brandy, you ready?
I am.
All right, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey with us. So, life coach, it's on you.
Okay, so real quick, Brandy, I want to let you know the more that you give me, the more I have to work with. Okay, the less you give me, the less I'll have to work with. We only got 50 minutes. Okay, so it depends on how much you want to unload on me. Nothing is too big or too small. If there are certain things that you don't wish to talk about that are deeper, we can have a conversation after about that. But I'm letting you know you are navigating the way that this session goes. Okay. Based on what you tell me. So don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Just know that you amongst family. Okay. Just know that you're amongst family, and anything you say or do, like I said earlier, we all been through stuff. So I want to know, what are you looking to get out of today?
I know I've been needing like counseling or therapy. And so I know this is on a different level because I am being visible to other people, but I also have noticed that, like the deep details of things I won't touch on, but the overall situation, I know that I could possibly help somebody with it. And I kind of found that out yesterday when I did some poetry, and I wrote a piece in 30 minutes about what I was going through, and had an entire room like in tears and feeling what I was going through, because they said we all going through something. So I know even though I'm going through this, I could possibly help somebody, because just like other people tell what they going through, they have helped me. So this more so of just trying to see, what you can tell me or what could lead me into getting into my next step, because yesterday I think might have been one of the hardest days I ever faced. Like yesterday was really, really, really hard dealing with life as far as relationships, my family, my kids, and my job situation. Like I got hit with everything at once, with not knowing where I'm gonna live, not knowing how I'm gonna support my family. It's like I went from having everything together to now I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Now, I just want to let you know, as I'm quiet here, I'm taking notes. So I tend to be a little old school, and I understand that also we can't retain all the information as we get it. So I write down the high points here. So just know that I'm not ignoring you, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And I got to point out that
the
results that come from this, the questions that Jeff asked Brandy, and the questions or the responses that Brandy gives, we don't guarantee anything on the show. All right. So if those are watching, they relate to what Brandy's talking about. We don't guarantee anything on the show. Okay. We put a disclaimer out there that the views that are expressed on the Dope Living TV are not necessarily views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. All right. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, so I really want us to focus on what you said just a couple seconds ago, talking about relationships, family, kids, not knowing where you're gonna live. I want you to just open up just a little bit more about that, like what happened in these particular situations that caused you to say I need help, and where are you trying to go?
The biggest thing was the relationship.
Okay.
I kind of went out of the normal realm of how I do things, because when I'm in a relationship, it's like I don't like to depend on people, because I always know that things can come to an end, and I never want to be in a position to where I am totally leaning on somebody for everything.
Okay.
And this time around, I did that. So I gave up my house. I gave up my peace, my serenity for this. And in the process, I'm left in a situation to where I don't know if I have somewhere to live, because now I'm in somebody else's house and they want me out their house. So I have uprooted myself with everything and putting this person on a pedestal, to where now I'm in a predicament to where I said I wouldn't do it. I would never put my all into somebody. But sometimes different situations present itself, people show you different things, and at the time it seemed real believable. But because of that, now I'm left in a situation where, like I said, my housing is questionable. My kids' future is questionable, because if I don't have a roof over my head, then my kids don't have a roof over my head. I don't have family to where, I can lean on them for help or assistance. So right now, I'm on the verge of like homelessness, and I don't know how to deal with that, and just get back into working. So I went from being independent, having everything together, not wanting anything, to now like my life kind of like, in an uproar.
Okay. So it seems like to me you put your trust in a person, right?
I did.
You did. There we go. And since you put your trust in that person, that, like you said earlier, that's how you ended up losing everything, virtually everything that you have, correct? Now I know now do you believe in God? You trust God, right?
I do.
Okay, and I don't want to make that assumption, because I do want to say I know people believe in certain things, so I didn't want to step on your toes with that. But God also requires movement from us as well. Okay. Now notice, God also requires movement. I always tell people, while you're always sitting and waiting, there's always something that you can be doing. Now, a lot of people don't understand. They might think those are harsh words, but it's very true. When you look up and down throughout the Bible, you have to remember what it God's people do. It always required some type of movement in order for him to step in and then be a blessing. Your error was this. Your error was what you did was you put trust in man. The Bible says not to put your full trust and confidence in man. We have some type of guidance on that spectrum, just principles. I don't want you to look at it as somebody telling you what to do. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we tend to think that, oh, somebody telling me what to do, they control and all this other stuff. No, we have a principle to look by and look after. So I want you to focus on that real quick. You trust you, right? You have the ability. There you go. And you have the ability to know your limits and your strengths and your weaknesses, right? So since you know your abilities and those strengths and those weaknesses, I want to know what allowed you to put that much trust in a person. Why did you end up letting your guard down at that time?
I've been still trying to figure that out myself. Like, this was something just out the norm for me, because like I said, I have always stuck to, not trust. I'm not going to say not trusting, but not putting my full trust, because I do know people let you down. So I've been trying to figure out what happened from the time I met this person to the time that I did sit there and give everything up. I've been literally trying to figure it out. And I don't know. I really don't. I mean, did they give a lot of characteristics that I never had like before in a relationship? Absolutely. They did do that, but I'm still trying to figure out even with that, because I have never been the one to care about what any man has. Car, financial, any house. I never cared about that. And, I have had friends say, Brandy, that's why I always respected you, because you never, ever cared about any of that. You went with that person's soul, their heart, and what they showed you. Not what they told you, but their actions. And so their actions was aligning, things was going great and all of that. But then when you start telling somebody things that may bother you, if they're not in that mature mind frame, they can't be receptive of it. And that's where the issue started. Now, I could be like, this probably wouldn't have been as hard if it was like infidelity involved, different things of that nature. But things get so bad just off of communication, to where like I just couldn't understand it. Like, and I think that's what tore me up. Like, how could somebody be this mean, this, that, and the other? Because I'm telling them what's bothering me.
Okay, let me check real quick, life coach. So
go ahead.
So hearing her talking, and I'm quite sure the rest of them probably have questions too. Is it that she's trying to validate that person?
And that's what I was looking at. You know what I mean? Because whenever you put trust in somebody, I don't want to say maybe she was trying to validate that person. I kind of think that maybe that person was validating you in the right way at the time. You know what I mean? Because in order to trust somebody, they have to show us that they can that they value, okay, that we value that trust. You know, there's a reason why you started talking to this person, sharing with this person, right? Because at the time you saw value in them, correct?
I did. And matter of fact, I'm
Okay.
just now thinking about it. They came around a time when, and I know you asked me a little earlier about God. In 2021, like I was single for maybe about a year and a half, single, celibate, all of that. Like I really enjoyed myself. But in the process, I did meet some people that kind of turned me away from my religion.
Okay.
And I did kind of was like, you know, there's a higher being or there's another power. I kind of turned away from God. And then I noticed when I did that, everything started going downhill from there.
Okay.
But this person came around at the time when I had just had a severe car accident.
Okay.
Things did start getting a little rough for me. So because of that accident, it did create it to where I had to take off from work, and you know, it was a lot. And what showed me was they just off bat came and tried to help me financially. Like, I don't want anything from you, this, that, and the other, but I see that you're struggling. I see that you're going through. So here is something to help you.
So they came at a time when you were in a vulnerable state. That's what it is. That's what it is. You got hit at a vulnerable time in your life. And when you got hit at that vulnerable time in your life, what happens was they came in and it looked good to you at the time. What you did was you let down that guard that you normally had, because in a sense you were defenseless. We get into any type of accident, we get into anything that can leave us I don't want to say paralyzed, but it can leave us shocked in a sense, you know, to where we don't have another place to turn. So what you did was you put that trust in somebody. You fell into the arms of a person, and I just mean that not literally, but I mean that figuratively. You know what I mean? In a sense, you fell into the arms of that person, and you trusted them. You know, so that's what it is, my sister. You got caught at a vulnerable state, and you saw, and I don't want to offend you when I say this, but you saw where a need could be met. You feel me? You saw where a specific need could be met. And I don't want to say taken care, you could be taken care of, but you saw where certain things could get done. You feel me? You saw where the help
Because
was
I
there.
never dealt with that. I know
There
I
you
never
go.
dealt with that. And the thing about it is I didn't want his help and didn't take it. Like,
Okay.
I didn't want that, but it was just a good feeling to see, like, okay, there really is a man out there that'll sit there and want to help this, that, and the other. So that did sit there, but it's like I didn't want his help, but it just still felt good that he offered it without me having to sit there and say, so you're not going to help out, or you're not going to this, you're not going to that. It was like he's a provider. Now that part he got down packed. He just don't have the other stuff to align with it.
Now, what's the other stuff you speak of?
Emotional. As far as he has a lot of trauma issues within himself, his family, all of that. And when you was never raised by a man and women, you tend to take some of them women ways. And so it's like, I don't think he was at his full potential of a man, because how can you be a man when you ain't never been taught how to be a man?
I get that.
Okay. And I can give you that. And you know, it's funny you said he's a good provider and he lacks other things, because we have to remember when we start looking at male and female and everything, that's what women want in a man, a provider, right? You know, we always talk about the provider first, right? You know what I mean? A lot of times we don't do a good job at vetting those things as far as the extra emotional part of it, the conversation, digging a little deeper into that person. I don't know if you tuned into some of the relationship shows we've had, but that's what we've also dived into as well. You know what I mean? Brandy, you had a weak moment, and I'm gonna just call it a weak moment because it's just a situation that just happened through circumstance. You know what I mean? Now, the reality of it is that I talk about accountability too, right? You know, so with it, you do have to, it sounds like you are accountable. You know what I mean? You recognize you're receiving where you were taken at a vulnerable state. You know what I mean? You saw where somebody could help you. Okay. So you see where all of that came into play. So now what you got to do is you have to find a way to bounce back. And the thing is, there are different ways and different avenues that you can go to. So I'll lay it out like this. You know, where you from? You don't have to say that. You know,
I'm from Chicago.
okay, you from Chicago. Okay. So we're not too far down the lane with each other. So the thing is, you know, with even though that you won't be in somebody else's house, okay, have you reached out to any potential shelters? Have you reached out to people who could take you and your kids in?
I went to some shelters and they took me as a joke. When I walked in and they seen the way I look, it's kind of like your nails done, your hair done, you smell nice, you dress nice, you got a car, and you won't need help. So I was taken as a joke because of my appearance.
Okay.
Well,
I hear you.
So, like Coach Joe,
go ahead.
let me interject real quick again. Okay, now you brought up the God aspect of it and how you know all about that, but you lost it. Okay, and I wanted to just interject real quickly. Marcy, speak on that real quick.
Which one? I'm sorry.
When she was speaking of God.
Okay. One thing a lot of people have a tendency to do is when it seems like it's both ways. When you're going through something, a lot of people think that, oh, why did God forsake me? Why am I going through this? We're taught, why not? Why, God see that you are able to get through this. We go through storms. We have storms, but it's not there to stay. So what it is, like Jeff said, it's accountability. Now it's what can we do? What is there now to do? You said you have gone to shelters, and I'm a little kind of shocked at how they're treating you because especially in this day and time, we have a lot of people that have lost their jobs because of pandemic and things of that nature. And shelters and social service agencies should never, ever look at a way a person is dressed and things like that, because a lot of people have fallen through the cracks to no fault of their own, and sometimes through their own fault, but still they're there to help. There's grant money there. That's what they're there for, to help people. I want to talk to you after the show also to try to figure out what shelters you've gone to, because right now, I'm just going to be honest, I'm a little pissed about that right now. Having worked with the social service agency and seeing, and you have children as well. Do you mind telling me how old your kids are?
15 and 16.
Okay.
And that was another thing. It seemed like everybody they tend to help was with smaller kids.
Exactly.
It's smaller kids. They sit there and was like, are you in a domestic violence situation? Do you feel like you're not safe? And it was like, since I wasn't answering predominantly no, well, no, I don't feel safe. It wasn't like I was a candidate, because I literally needed to say no to every last, no or yes to every last one of them questions. But I'm going to be like, okay, now we're going to move you to this next stage. But I have been reaching out to some people that know people that's been directing things my way. And so that was my next step. Like I haven't been sitting stagnant, not doing anything, just hoping and wishing like something comes. No, I've been searching, I've been looking, because I'm never going to see, because at the end of the day, if I'm not good for me, I can't be good for myself. Like I'm accountable for everything I go through. I own up to stuff I do. So I know I messed up by jumping in this. I know I messed up by sitting there giving up, security for my kids to move in with somebody because of that. I know I did all of those things. I'm not going to solely put this on that person, because at the end of the day, I still made the decisions to do that. So now that I know where I'm at with this situation, I have been taking the necessary steps. And I mean, it sometimes it's worse than others, and I've been having a supportive team too, as well. Like people been coming about, like, and I'm just shocked at the love I just been getting from people to just help me and this, that, and the other, and let me know that I am a good person. Because, some people make me feel like I may not be. So to see that if I wasn't, people wouldn't be so amped to help me and to sit there and reach out to me ever since they found out I was going through something. Texting me, inboxing me, whatever they could, resources. I'm praying for you, Bible scriptures, affirmations, whatever they can. And these last 2 days, like just the love I've been getting from everybody is what saved me, because I was at my breaking point of death.
Okay, now let me mention real quick.
Can I ask one question real quick? Your kids, male or female?
I have a boy and a girl.
All right, let me mention real quick that this is an actual life coaching session here on Dope Living TV tonight. Okay, this is the discovery portion of it. So in no way are we trying to say that it's going to take an hour. It's going to take 50 minutes to get this done. All right.
Exactly.
But what we're doing is actually trying to help with the life coach Jeff Rutherford Redirect, Regroup, Refocus is his platform. Right. Giving it back to you, life coach.
Now, like I said earlier, I know that you can accept that accountability, and that's great because that's a big thing. So I commend you for that. You know what I mean? A lot of people won't say, I'm telling you, girl, it's funny. A lot of people will not, they will sit in front of me and they will play the blame game until the wheels fall off. Okay. And I'm glad that you haven't done that, because that's a very big step in you moving forward. And I want to tell you this, if you're able to accept the accountability, the next thing is to do everything that you can to make sure that you don't fall into that same predicament again.
Oh, this will never happen in life again. Oh,
there you go. Yep. And that's what I'm looking for, because the thing is, like you said, you have to, now what you do is when you learn from this, you realize the vulnerable state that you were in. You know what I mean? You recognize that from start to finish. And now when you start to go about and people come to help you, I'm not saying reject help. You know what I mean? I'm not saying reject it, but you have your eyes open. You got your ears up like Scooby-Doo. You know what I mean? You're able to tell, exactly. You're able to tell a little bit differently in how somebody might be moving. You know, well, I'm gonna tell you what James Bond said last week. He said the devil doesn't come in a beautiful sense. He comes in a suit, a smooth talker, and some red bottom shoes on. You know what I mean? And he couldn't be more right about that. So the thing is, the key to stay wiser than the serpent is to know how the serpent comes dressed, is to know how the serpent can look you right in the face. And he has a way of words. He has a way to just play on emotions, because believe it, that's what he did. He played on your emotions. He definitely did. In order to get into that state that you are in now, he played on your emotions. So once again, I'm not going to definitely put all the blame on him, because we haven't. But I will say this. He had a very big role, into the reason as to why you're going down this path too. Trust is a hard thing to relinquish, you know, but just be very careful again not to relinquish that. So you
because right now everything is questionable to me. Everything. If you come to me saying you're gonna help me, you give me numbers and stuff, I can reach out and contact people myself. It's like, thank you for the help, but I'm not gonna ever allow somebody to get that close again to sit there and do what he did. Like if somebody come with, oh, I can help you financially, or you can come live with me. No. That's just out the freaking question. And then, like I said, I know a lot of this came from when I turned away from God. Like God wasn't happy with that. So, like I said, the minute when I turned around, everything just started going downhill after that. Like I said, these car accidents, bad car accidents. In a year long, I done had three bad car accidents. 2 of them where I was in the hospital. The first one, I was literally hit, leaving poetry, flipped up in the air, all of that, hospitalized, couldn't work. So that caused a strain on finances and all of that. And so it was just a lot. So I wasn't praying to God, asking for help. So instead of me asking, like praying to God to lead me, you know, in the right direction and all that, I sit there and took that kind gesture as more than what it really was.
Okay. Let me see. And you said, I want to talk about this real quick. I want to hop on this real quick. Now, you said when all that happened, you said you turned away from God. Now, go back real quick and tell me, how did you turn away? How did you feel that you turned away?
When I turned away from God, there was a person that I had like befriended me. Like we became cool, like in the poetry world. And with that, they really wasn't into God. So after having talks and all that, and it just started some of the stuff like people got a gift of tongue and mouth, and they did that. And it was like the stuff they was saying, I kind of believed it, and it was like it just started hitting harder. And it was like, okay, this sounds like it could be right. Like, God, like when they sit there and say, like, people sit there and say, thank you, God, for this job. And they was like, how you gonna thank God for something? He ain't get you that. You went and applied yourself to get that job. So it was so many things being said to me. And then it even got to the point that one day they had came to my house and was like, why you got this Bible in your house? I should burn it. And instead of me getting mad, I didn't say anything because I thought at that time it was okay. So I know everything I'm going through, I'm getting beat for it because of what I did. I can't turn on God and I'm not gonna say I sit there. What's the word that they say you can't do? Towards God. Yeah, it wasn't blasphemy. I wasn't saying, there's not a God, there's not this.
Rejection.
I was just sitting there saying there's a higher being, but God sit there and seen that my heart was turning away from him. I was losing it. And in order for him to bring me back, that's when everything started happening. So I could realize that there is a God, because I didn't survive on my own.
Exactly.
Just like that person tried to tell me that I got that job on my own. No, I didn't survive on my own. God spared me because he knew I still had more to go. I still had a purpose and I still had a story.
Okay. And I want to say this because a lot of times I also life coach another group of people and they a little different. That's why you heard me say that I know that people believe in different stuff and I don't want to step on nobody's toes. And the thing is, the whole key with that is you stick to what you believe in. You know what I mean? So I'm going to tell you this. For people that really know me, they know that I call God energy. They know I call God a source. They know I call God a movement because these are the things that were taught to me. But I know how to better relate them now in my adult way of thinking. You know what I mean? All it did was just grow as time went on. So when people always say they like to steer away from the words energy and all that. But the thing, what I do is I give God reverence in everything because that's how it should be. Now, that's how I was taught. That's how I was told. That's what the book tell me. So whenever it come back, it always point away. So I'm going to say this to help you actually end up keeping your faith when people come to you and they say stuff like this. Okay. So it's like this. When people come to you and they say, oh, well, about this energy or you got that job and all that stuff like that. Scripture says greater is he that is in me than he who is in the world. This is how I know that God is in everything that I do, because if God is working through me, you know what I mean? And in me, that means he's allowing me to give these different talents, these different gifts and everything to be used for his purpose and his work in his way. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So once you keep that at the forefront, okay, you won't be so persuaded with words like energy and force or knowing who what your inner being is, your inner soul, because once again, that's one scripture right there that culminates everything. It culminates the inside, the outside, and it also states the power that you have inside of you also to move. And a lot of times we don't teach this in church because we be so scared that we'll dabble off into different realms or different things, you know? So anything that I just said right now did not take away from God, who he is, or how he moves. You know what I mean?
But it wasn't just solely what he said.
Okay.
This goes deeper back to being raised in a Christian household where mama was the nurse, grandpa was the deacon, uncle is the pastor, and in church every day of the week, but every last one of them hypocrites. The stuff that I see in church, the stuff that I hear. So it got to the point to where I started getting mad at my mother. And I started calling her Harriet because I said, you got slave mentality. I'm like, instead of you thinking on a broader aspect of things, you want to sit here and think of the olden days of this, that, and the other. I said, times evolve, this, that, and the other. And so it started with her and how you want to sit here and tell me about the Bible and my ways, but then you in church cussing like a sailor in the back. Like, come on, make it make sense. Or y'all all in the back, poke your head out the window, taking a puff of the cigarette, but then you want to tell me about what I'm doing. So I start losing my way based off of that, coming from a churchy family where, number one, they have dogged me my entire life, never been there for me, but y'all supposed to be such a God-fearing family. Stop it.
Okay. Now we hitting somewhere. Now we hitting somewhere, because the thing is, what people have to realize is this. I also too have experienced that, so I feel you on that. And where that comes from is a lack of realness that should be amongst the church. And once again, for my people here who look at this and they notice, the church is nothing but the people. Right. So if the church is nothing but the people, we're lacking a sense of realness, even with how we talk to God. People think that we have to come all dressed up, nice, suited and booted a certain way, using these big words. I even told Greg before we started the show, I said, I'm not about to sit up here and use all these big words, these big terms, try to break it down. No, my sister, I'm gonna meet you right where you at. Because the thing is, a lot of times when it comes to us in church, we don't want to meet people where they at.
Right.
Because we believe that what that's doing is that's saying that we're thinking that makes us less holy or less of a Christian. You know what I mean? I've talked to so many people that believe. I've talked to a drunk who believed more in God than a lot more people who was in church.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
So the thing is, when we start to look at these different areas of what and who God is and how he blesses, Paul says we die in our flesh daily. You know what I mean? So what that means is it's going to be stuff that we do every single day of our lives. But that is why God allows grace.
That's right.
To fall on us. So those same people who you experienced that hurt from, you know what I mean? And them same people who want to judge and do all that stuff.
Don't let them put the blinders.
There you go. They got the blinders on, like Mo said. These are the same people. And I tell you, I'm the first to tell you, girl, this will go always happen. They the first people who cuss. They the first people who get upset. You know what I mean? And I go on here. Y'all know I ain't scared to talk about what I do. I cuss a little bit. I drink a little bit. I smoke a little weed. But guess what? Because I have not turned my back on God. You feel me? This is why God continues to bless me in everything that I do. You have to be real, you have to be genuine, and you have to show people the way.
And they don't do that. Like, I just think about all the times service would be over with after y'all done shouted all over the church, amen this, amen that. Now y'all in my uncle's office talking about everybody, talking about who tied and who didn't tie. Sitting there talking about just everything. And I'm just like, I don't want to come to this. Like, I don't, but y'all want to sit here and talk about every single thing I do, and especially my mother. And that's why we kind of have a toxic relationship, because she'll sit there and be quick to tell me what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, and I'm wrong in this. But then you on the phone gossiping about everybody under the sun. And I'm just like, lady, that's why I told her, you stuck in that slave mentality. You just think that things supposed to go this, that, and the other way, but you're not really seeing what's really going on in the world. You stuck in that, and I said you need to break free. And I told her this is no disrespect to you, like none. But I said you do have a slave mentality, because, and I said that's how most Christians are. They feel like one day I had on a dress, I didn't have on a slip. That slave mentality. I'm like, you thinking that, it ain't like I got something see through this, that, and the other. Oh, I'm not a woman of God because I got on a dress without a slip. It's like she want to keep that mentality about what should be done and this is the way you should live, but you not upholding to it. So I just been getting fed up. As I got older, I kept getting fed up. Then when I did have that conversation with that person, the stuff started sounding more believable after being around all these hypocrites and all of this. And this ain't just from people that I saw. This family blood.
Yeah. Okay.
That's something else. Jeff, real quick. Normally we take this time and let Jeff do his life coaching moment, but he's life coaching all hour. Okay, but I want to take a couple of minutes, man, and let the panel here ask you a couple of questions concerning this real quick, if they have any questions. Maurice, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to ask the question. Where do you think the church is at, Brandy?
Well, we want to keep the questions.
The church is in your heart. The church is in your heart. It's not in no building.
Now, the statement I want to make is that you're gonna be okay, sis, because the closer you step toward God, he gonna step towards you. Okay, just remember that. And the reason why that is because your craft is a blessing, and you've been blessing people with your craft. Continue doing what you're doing.
Most definitely. We want to keep the questions directed towards the life coach, though. Okay. Marcy, did you have anything you wanted to?
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about, okay, Jeff, she brought up about how she turned her back on the God for, and she's now explaining some of the reasons. And again, that's looking at man. That's not most Christians. That's not all Christians.
Exactly.
So does this also tie into where, if you've done something that now, because of choices you've made, now you're dealing with certain consequences, is forgiving yourself a part of this as well, a part of the healing and restoration progress?
Exactly. And I'm so glad you asked that question. That's a great question, because yes, forgiving yourself is a part of that process. My thing is you can't live in your own despair. You can't live in your own weaknesses. You can't live in those things that keep you in bondage. Okay. Because if you mess up sometimes and you always saying, well, God never blessed me because I did this, that, the third. That's not what it is. Repentance is being able to let go. Okay. Being able to let go of that past hurt, trauma, pain, or thought process and old decision making that you had before, and truly walk away from it. Okay. Truly walk away from it, or make the attempt to walk away from it. Okay. With a clear conscience and a clear heart. So that way, if you go back into it again, you know what I mean? It's not intentional. You know what I mean? You're not doing it saying, okay, well, I'm going to do this and then next week I'm going to go back to it. No, that's not what it's about. It's you literally trying to let go and let loose of that thing that has a hold of you. You feel me? But you still have to show yourself grace.
That's pretty hard to do too. Gina?
It is.
Yes, this is a general question. It has nothing to do with Brandy's situation. It has to do with your coaching sessions, coach. My question is, if you get an individual who doesn't believe in God, who, that's not part of their life, do you coach with God in the sessions, or do you take that out? And then I have another question afterwards.
What I tell people is exactly like I told Brandy, the principle. It's all I always tell people, I don't care what you believe in, because nothing's gonna throw me off from what I believe in. So the thing is, but I know how I teach. You know what I mean? I know how I use the system, and the system is based on scripture principles. So that's what I hone to, even if you don't believe. So that means, for the most part, I would like to assume, you can't ever assume about people, but I would like to think that some of the clients that I talk to that don't believe in God, they haven't read the Bible extensively like I had. And if they have, I dumb it down to a point of just morality and living and being a human being. We all want to show love to people, right? You don't want your mom to come in and cuss you out because you didn't move the plate the right way on the table, or you didn't wipe the counter off, right? So I teach people love, humility, those types of things, because that's the basic principles that we live by, and the things that should be in our heart anyway. Gotcha. Even the rudest and meanest person in the world still wants love.
Yeah.
And at this point in the session, are you able, or do you at this point make a assessment that how many sessions a person may need, or would you have to keep going in order to determine that?
I would need more than this hour to do that, because the thing is, it's so much that a person can go on. And you got to remember, what we've only touched on, we haven't even touched on the whole family thing. We haven't even really got deeper into the situation to know all of everything that happened.
So you know what I mean? Unpacking.
Exactly. So it's a lot more, because Brandy she's choosing to share what she wants to share. But we're still making it so we're effective. And is it effective, Brandy? I need to know that. Is it you got something out of this?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. So that's what it is. That's what it takes.
And that was my question. And I know I directed to not ask Brandy the question, but I wanted to make sure before the show was over, if this has been at least a little helpful to you at all, Brandy.
It has, because I've been looking for a therapist or somebody that I feel comfortable that will not just look at me as a case study and just be like, have they pen and paper, like, so tell me, but really feel like I'm talking to somebody I know and really interacting with me.
That trust.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we got 10 more minutes. Let's turn it back over to the life coach.
Okay, well, I know what we stepped out before you talked about, and it just looks like to me your mind shifted with going away from God because of what you've been used to in the past. So it seems like you're looking for something different. I went through that same period. You know what I mean? I was 18, 19 years old, and I said, okay, old folk, we got to do this a different way. That's exactly what I said. I said, old folk, we got to do it a different way, because I'm like, I know I'm young, and I know it's a lot that I can look at and see, but sometimes it's still the same God. Okay, we got to remember that it's still the same God, but the world has changed.
Right.
Like you said earlier, Brandy, the world has changed. So a lot of times people don't know how to adjust. Sometimes people want to apply old principles or old teachings to an already developed and new game that's out there. And I feel that that's what a big disconnect is when you're trying to teach people. So, that's a big thing. But I see why your mind shifted, yo. I see why. When you was talking about your mom and how different things that you saw that were going on in the church and everything like that. And I'm sure you know that there are a lot of people who go through this. But the best way to do it and navigate around it is that you have to know who God is within you and in your heart and what he means specifically just to you. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter what nobody else think about what you think about God. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to explain yourself to nobody. But if somebody does ask a question, you can articulate that. So let them judge, let them go ahead and bask in their own thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, because while you're trying to move forward, you have to remember people will dive and dig into you because they have untapped trauma that they haven't gone through, untapped emotions and feelings that they haven't even looked at yet pertaining to God. That's why arguments always ensue.
Yep.
When it comes to stuff like that, because people don't want to find a new way and change.
Good information.
Different. So, life coach, this is the discovery part. I'm calling it the discovery part, right?
Yeah.
As you said, you need more time basically to really dig into what's going on. And Brandy, we do appreciate you sharing that journey with us. All right. Nobody wants to be in a bad situation, and a lot of us keep it in. And it's great to talk about it. And Marcy's there for you to talk to. Life Coach Jeff is there for you to talk to. We're all here for you to talk to. I don't know how me talking to you is going to be. Okay,
Don't do it, Brandy. Don't do
it. Don't do it. He already told me what would happen if he talked to anybody. Don't do it.
I'm trying to coach you for life. It's gonna be
which life?
He can't even get that out. Listen to him.
I can't tell nobody really nothing. I can tell you my life story, but my life story is my life story. Your life story is your life story, and everybody needs to sometimes let it out and talk. And this is what we decided to do this week, to let life coach at least give his gift to other people for a moment. All right. Everybody that's out there, if you need to talk to someone, reach out to a life coach. Reach out to Life Coach Jeff. He's there for us, and people are like him. They're there for us, and I think it's great to get it off of your chest. Sometimes you don't want to talk to your mom or your dad or your sister or your brother. Okay, you want to talk to somebody who has experienced different things and who has experience in healing and trying to get you to see a better you. So. Brandy, is there anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah.
No, like, I'm glad you reached out to me to even get on here. That was a big step, and I know you was like, you don't have to show your face or anything, but I have nothing to hide. Like, I'm not ashamed of anything I'm going through, because I know I'm going to get through it, over it, everything. So, and it might be another woman, man, or anything, and I know for a fact it is other people going through what I'm going through, or even worse. So we all can try to help each other and heal. So something I may have said could have helped somebody else. And so that's the ultimate goal. It's not just about me, But it's about, because even with everything I'm going through, I got friends that's really going through it. And I'm still trying to be a support system because we all going through it. So if we can just continue to like come and help each other, like that does wonders, because people don't understand mental health is real, depression is real, suicide is real. So when somebody is screaming out for help, don't talk about them. Don't sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I bet you she probably ain't with that man no more. Instead of talking about me, find out what's going on, because you don't know, I could be at the verge of my breaking point. And
That's
how
right.
that's going to make you feel knowing that, dang, I talked about her and she was really going through, instead of saying, are you okay, and genuinely
That's right.
meaning it.
Yeah, and care.
That's right.
Life coach, you want to comment on that?
Hey, but she's right. You know, we got to check on our people. You know, like she said, we all going through something, but we all have something to give to somebody else. You know, if you just out here being a rude, mean person, keep that stuff at the door. We don't want to hear what you got to say. We can learn something from you because you just out here being crazy and whatnot, but we don't want to hear all those negative comments like that. Keep that to yourself. But if you have something positive to give to somebody and you're not going to judge and talk about them, extend a hand rather than to go ahead and flap this all the time, just so you could go ahead and just because you got something to say. Or a lot of times people talk about other people to boost their own ego. You know what I mean? Because they want to say that they're better than somebody. They won't tell you directly, but in the speech that they have to give to other people as they continue to talk about others, that's exactly what they mean.
Absolutely. So, Byron says a lot of people aren't really able to do self-analysis and be realistic about their situation.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. That's real talk, Byron. It's real talk.
Hey, we're going to be doing this all week, everybody. You know, there's going to be 4 different cases, I'll call it. It's 4 different situations. And we hope you guys tune in and actually encourage, help, support these people that are on here. Right? Marcy, Mo, Gina, real quick, final words. Make it a minute.
Okay. I'm first?
Yeah.
Okay. We're living in an ever-changing world. Things are changing. We make choices. There's sometimes there are consequences, and it's okay. Learn from our mistakes. Forgive yourself. Know that even with the ever-changing world, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We serve an awesome God. You can't look at what other people are doing as far as church or whatever your religion or denomination is. Get to know God for yourself. He's a forgiving God. Give him a try.
Well, that's why I asked that question earlier about where do you think church is at. Hold on to God's hand. Hold on. You probably done heard that 100 million times, if not a billion times, because of church. You know, you went to church. So I'm just saying, hold on to God's hand, sister. You're going to be all right. Trust me, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Check on your people. Just because they, like Brandy said, your hair is done, you smell good, you dress pretty, don't mean you're okay. Check on your people.
All right. And again, like I said, we're going to be doing this all week. Brandy, we appreciate you.
Appreciate your life.
Giving us your journey. And hopefully, you know, this has been the beginning of some help. I'd like you to stay on after the show, until after the show is over, and Jeff, you know, can talk to you a little bit more if you can.
Okay.
All right, cool. Shout out to Mark Casey. He joined in, watch today. Okay, Mark, I got to talk to you real soon.
What's happening, Mark?
Yes, sir. He just came back from overseas. He did a pilgrimage, so
okay.
Talk to him real soon. Yeah, this is Dope Living TV Live. Tomorrow, Life Coach, you ready?
Yeah.
Giving them what they need, man. Giving them what they need.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Gotta do it. All right. This is Dope Living TV Live. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right.
Peace.
Peace out.